Joyce.
Hi, Joyce.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
Oh, everyone's up for it. I can see it.
So, ready?
Hello? No. It's, what's I going to say? Yeah, where are you, Sylvia?
I'm in Germany.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh,
Ah,
You've got good light there by the look of it.
Yes. It's yeah, in the morning, more or less.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the light is natural light.
Yeah, that's what you need this time of year, because I've got my window here, and like you say, come back 3 o'clock, 3:30, it's starting to look a bit yuck. You know, you can't paint. Some people can paint in under sort of LED lighting and things like that, but I try. You can do some blocking in and some big areas and doodles. I did one last night, but if you try to get close and tight, you end up painting shadows. You get a sort of parallax. You go to paint a line and you think, oh, I'm painting the shadow of the line that I should be painting. It's quite interesting. I remember watching Roger Dean video. I watch him quite a lot. He did all the Yes album, sort of spacey islands in the sky paintings, and it was during the pandemic. He was doing some live work, and he was saying, "Oh no, I paint in any light," and I thought, "Good for you," because I can't do it at all. But well, can't say can't, because I do, but I prefer it, like you say, the natural light. But even that affects the way you paint, doesn't it?
Yes.
And what time is it?
The light is good, yeah.
But sometimes the light affects, you know, if it's, you think I'm going to paint, I said last week, well, no, I'm going to make it a nice bright sunny picture, and it, because it's the light coming in is grey overcast, or you're affected by it and you end up painting something not quite so friendly, some bright and sunny. Anyway, as long as we all had a good week, that's the main thing.
yeah.
Last week, we'll go through last week, so if I can find it, because do you, let's find it. Oh well, we found out what it was called in the end. That was Anne's. This is sort of a square shape, Anne, that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm painting quite small just so I can get it finished in time.
Oh, it hasn't come up on mine.
No, it's not there.
No.
Not yet.
I thought it was just me.
No, it's only Dave can see it.
Do what? No, I haven't shared it, that's why.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry, I was talking and
That's it.
I was ahead of myself. There you go. Just while someone's awake around here.
Oh, that's good.
yeah.
I was saying it's more of a rectangle. It's not such a, I don't know.
Lovely.
I like the background and I lost it on the front, really. The front didn't go right.
It was quite hard, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the mountains in the background.
Yeah.
And the
Very
sky.
good. Yeah.
The
tree.
water does look as though it's flowing.
That's why I like doing these challenges, you know.
Yeah.
They're not in my comfort zone. If it was me, I'd be painting, you know, 2 figures on the beach walking out in a sunset or something, or the, you know, seeing seascape and Muddyford Quay, or, you know, the beach huts. But doing it this way, you learn so much.
Yes.
I recommend you get one of those evergreen Rosemary Co riggers.
Yeah, I've got quite a good rigger.
But
They're
they're
quite fine.
totally different.
That's how I did the tree, with a very fine rigger.
Mm.
But I am
But-
quite shaky, so that doesn't
Yeah,
help.
I think the key is to, like I said in the past, is to work out a routine where you actually got the brush at a certain and you can rest your hand or your little finger even on the
Yeah.
paper and
Yeah,
just
that's true.
use that as a guide.
Yeah, I'll try the finger.
Well, it's one of those weird things though that you work, you think, oh, that's great, I've worked out, and then the next time you to paint some failure, you know, some twiggy bits, you forget how to do it. You have to do it regular. Well, familiarity is the key, but
Yeah.
it's good though. The water looks nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually Gordon sent one.
Yeah, Gordon's is sort of surreal.
I thought it would look a bit similar. Oh
That's not Gordon's.
No, that's
no,
mine.
this is Carol.
Oh, nice.
The water is falling there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Trouble is, there's not much colour in it, is it? It's a bit
It's a,
drab.
well, it's Scotland. It's a dower.
Yeah.
Well, they call it dower, don't they? And
Yeah.
The
It is
image is a bit
it's in Glencoe as well, which is a grey area. Glencoe is always dark. Yeah,
we're
it's
not going
nice.
to criticise them because they're all they're all good. Did you ever go at that? What I said with the trees, using the brush at a
Yeah,
I
and the
know it's-
sky. And the
I know it's
sky I
colour.
did. Yeah, I did the sky like that as well.
It does work if you when you're doing the sort of faint intimation of foliage on the trees on within the branches. You come in from the side, go towards, don't go out. Works. I don't know why. Don't know who taught me that. I read it somewhere probably. Hey, look at that stretched paper. I love it. That's Gordon's.
Oh, that's good.
No, that's
Wow.
Chrissy.
Good, yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, they're all good.
Yeah, well, it's acrylic, isn't it? So it's
It's not
The
Gordon's.
one's going to be different, isn't it?
yeah, it's a bit more opaque.
Yeah.
Well, a lot more. It's 100% more opaque.
So your rocks turned out well.
Yeah, they're good.
Yes. Yeah, that was, with the palette knife, scraping it off. But yeah.
They're very
That's-
effective.
That's my top tip. Does work. Well,
Yeah.
well, the credit card routine's the other way of doing it, but in watercolor. But I can't afford a credit card, so it's no good me thinking about that. Oh, that was
It's not
Gordon.
Gordon's.
Yeah.
When it came through, I thought he's borrowed Anne's palette.
Yeah, no, I think that's Jackson's paints.
Yeah.
It's sort of a surreal look at it, really.
You dare
Very
turn them
effective.
upside down.
Yeah,
Lovely tree.
yeah.
You never know what you see when things go upside down.
Different.
I sometimes do it. Turn the picture upside down and see what you can get a rough idea what balances are going and things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's easier than turning your head round, that's for sure.
But Gordon's colour palette was quite good. It all matched. He's not here.
He's
So.
done a good job. I think the thing he's if there was any, if I was going to make any comment, then I would have just said remind you that dark brings it forward, light recedes.
Yeah.
So maybe some of this stuff at the back could go, just lighten it off with a clean water and tissue, or alternatively make these front rocks that little bit darker.
Yeah, that's true.
and lighten the tree perhaps a bit. All it takes is a spray. Just spray it and just use clean tissue and dab it, and
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
lift it off.
Yeah,
But other than that, I think we've done a good job.
yeah, it's
Excellent.
nice.
It was a challenge though, wasn't it? Because there's there's so many techniques that you can play with there, you know, and it's got all the pitfalls, or the you know, the areas where you're going to fall into trouble. There's another one. This week's is probably it's got the same problem, hasn't it? The one we're doing today. I've called it an elderly lady. Let's see if I can share this. Thoughts on a sixpence here. Where are you, madam? Share. Definitely character there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Full expression.
She's dressed up at a fair or an event as Charles Dickens character.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't till I read the deeper into, you know, the reference image, I thought, that makes sense. Something off
Is
Little
it
Dorrit.
mistletoe over her head?
Beg pardon?
Is it mistletoe over her head?
Don't know. I didn't look that up. No, I don't know.
I
It's
reckon.
probably some sort of Celtic thingy.
Waiting for a man.
Mm.
I'm sure that's
More likely having a break and a cup of tea, by the looks of it.
Yeah, a bit of mistletoe.
I think. Any thoughts? Any ideas on how to approach it? No, that's your job. Yeah, all right.
You do that.
Well, the hard bit, and I'm not going to get time to do it today, is the her dress. I mean, if you wanted to get that, you have to sit down and sketch, you know, or outline it out quite positively. Chrissy would be all right with that. She'll get some bright acrylics on there, but that'll bring it forward quite a lot. There's a lot of detail. I did a close-up one as well. I used the grid to draw it, so I don't think my sketch really matches it exactly, but I'm not fussed about that.
Nose looks as if it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a doodle of it last night, just to pick up any, I don't know, just to get my palette lubricated, so to speak. And there was a few things I noticed, and the nose, as you say, was I think well, when we get into it, we'll talk about it. But I think the thing is don't get bogged down with drawing lines and all the rest of it. Look at where they are. You know, the color. Just put a dark and gradually build it up. The hardest thing, I think, is the color of the. In watercolor, is what color to use. I mean, we always say color is irrelevant, but it'd be nice to get that really pale, fleshy color. Not easy, that. That was my brilliant sketch. Well, no, that's just biro on the piece of detail paper underneath the a few pencil lines. And I did a close-up because, like you said about the nose and that, see if I could get some sort of feeling for it.
There's shadows under the eye as well. They're going to be. End up
If
Well,
you're
looking-
not careful, it'll look like black eyes. Won't it?
I haven't. Well, you can actually see the reflection of the I don't know, the camera lens or something in the eye, something reflecting back. I didn't want to zoom in case it was a murder mystery thing, you know. the figure that did it was in the reflection of the eyes. Where do I don't know where I got that from, sorry. So, probably a movie or a book. Yeah, so the lips I thought were interesting as well. But I haven't changed my palette, so I'm going to stick with the normal palette. This is where I find my camera ain't working. Oh no, shh. Negative thinking. Beg your pardon. How do we do this now? I think I click there. I should be Billy Whiz at this. Right, I'm going to change take my jumper off and pretend I'm an artist and go for this. Change the microphone. I'll be back. 2 seconds.
I might have a go in pastels for this one. I don't know. Maybe.
That's a pretty good idea. Is that your dog, Chrissy?
Yeah. Yeah. He's downstairs.
Well, can you hear me? Yeah, I doodled it last night. One thing I noticed on here before I go madly off is because it's dried off. I'm not fussed about what the picture looks like, but it's a good opportunity if I can find the right brush. What I'm always going on about at the end is the next day or during the week, as things dry off, clean tissue in your hand and clean water on your brush and a tissue in your hand. Because there's like a line here. I don't know where that came from. It must have looks like she's dribbled, but just a clean water and a brush, and we can start doing some makeup and lifting highlights off. It's what I'm always saying. You can never say your picture's finished because you're always looking at it, especially a few days later, and you start lifting things off. So even after today's workout, there's no guarantee that the image that I end up with will be the image that's there a week time. Not too bad actually, but it can still, it's only a small doodle, lift bits off and try and build it back up, because it doesn't matter how good you think you are the day before, on the day you're looking at it a few days later, think, ooh. Ooh. But as I say, I've got into this routine now of sketching on the detail paper, frisk detail, and then transferring it, you know, using a bit of carbon onto the paper, the watercolor paper. I tried to remember, I keep saying about it, is using the color wheel to say, look, when you're doing these things, the shadow bits are the opposite on the color wheel. So if it's pinky, it's got to have a bit of greeny in it. I tried to do that last night just to test it out, and in the end I ended up using my normal turquoise and what do you call it, pink, Alzerian crimson. What colour background do you want, Carol?
Oh, don't know.
Are we fussed?
No.
But,
Can I ask one question?
yeah, you break in at any moment, anytime you like.
Are you going to have the same motive, or is everyone's like drawing their own thing, or are you going to make the same, like this portrait, is everyone going to make the same?
Well, everyone
Yeah.
does their own thing, but that's what I send those reference images for.
Okay.
So this, you can see what my sketch is, and it's a pointer for you to have a go.
Okay.
Hence the reason I do it on. I usually send one on a with a grid on it. That printout there's got one on. Then you can. All you need, it doesn't matter what size your image is. All you've got to do is transfer 4. How many have we got there? 1, 2, 3. Well, it's 3 whole ones and a half. So you need a piece of detail paper, or you can do, sometimes I'll do it. I used to do it straight on here. So you can measure it out. And if you use a watercolor pencil, a light one, it'll blend in. As you paint, it just disappears, which is great. Have you used that way before, Sylvia?
I'm always trying to make my sketches free without the frame, but maybe it's good for the proportions to first, train this.
I like to do it with, I used to say do it with portraits, but just lately I use it. You don't need a lot of lines either. That's the irony of it. I mean, I've used a few there, 4 going across. It's not 4 going down, but sometimes just 2 equal lines in the center of the subject, and then you're away. You can get a bit neat. That one I didn't do it. Last night I just sat down with a pencil and drew a circle, and off you know, actually if you've got a prop like this one's got a hat, you don't even need that. You can just take it around. And I think that's all I did last night. I thought, well, she's got a rounded chin. Put some lines on, doesn't matter where they are, and gradually build it up and adjust it accordingly. The eyes are always a problem, but you don't, there is no, I mean, I've got books here, Loomis technique and all this sort of, you know, if you know about the Loomis technique, where you draw on it all starts from a circle and you add the chin and a line down the middle. By the time I've done all that, I've lost the will to do a picture. So I'd rather do a cartoon just than that. Then it is your own work, isn't it? And gradually build it up, add bits in here and there. But I always look at it, this I just tend to start with, a lot of artists do it, especially on portraits. You draw one item, so you can focus on, say, an eye. I don't know, I've been lighting the fire, so I've got gloves on earlier on. You can, if you draw one part of the subject and use that to distance all the other bits and build it up from it. A lot of serious portrait artists do that. But you'd be surprised how good you can get it. So you can say, look, the distance between the corner of that eye and that is, you know, you can visually do it and start building it up that way. And there's more white on that side of the eye than there. That's how, if I'm not using a grid, I would do it. But I do that, I still do it anyway after I've sketched it on the grid. and gradually keep building it up, looking for shadows, looking for lines, and look at the gap between the bottom of the nose. Actually, there's a like a curved shadowy bit here. So, and then look for the space between the, actually it's a bit low. Her nose should be up a bit more. So I can lift her nostrils up a bit, and then the gap between there and there is proportional. I can visualize it. Just put a light shadow in, and away we go. We suddenly, and that's what I tend to do. Gradually build it up. There are no fast lines, and little things like the mouth, the earlobe is level with the bottom of the mouth. Oh, that's brilliant. I've got a roadmap. Away we go. And the other ear, unless she's really badly deformed, is not going to be far away from level with the other one. Even there. I used to do that when I was a lad at college. I was one of them that sat at the back, and my college notebooks were covered with little doodles of the people that were in front of me and the lecturer, the teacher. I've always done that. It's quite good, that. I'll keep that one. Does that help?
Yes, I'm going to try.
But it's the same with anything. If you're doing a building with a roof, draw. It's either a rectangle, a square, or a triangle. So if you do that, and then look at the proportions, say, well, that the tower of the church is so high from that, and that's not as long. You know, the distance between the top of the tower, the roof, and the end of the roof is almost just a little bit longer than that, and you just build it up from there. So then you can start. It's got 4 windows, and off you go. Just use one item to point you or act as a roadmap to all the other items. You'd be amazed at how quickly the subject appears. I haven't actually sketched this one very well, I don't think. Looking at it, I don't know. Looking at it, I should have I should have done it on here. But and then by the same token, a lot of artists, or many, particularly oil painters, they don't actually do a sketch at all either. They use exactly that same way of put one item in and the other. Oh, that eye's blurred. Wow, just while you spoke to me, that eye's way down. I'll just sketch it in quickly. Does this lady look a bit, her eyes look like Dame Judi Dench, if anyone knows? They've got a sort of Dame Judi, I think it's because she's got I was going to say a chubby face. It's the roundness of it, I think. So yeah, I'm practicing what I preach now. I want to get those shadowy bits there. The nose, and the lines on it. But then again, I don't want to I try not to over sketch. Because I don't want, I've got the photograph, I don't want another one. I want something that relates to my inadequacies as an artist, as a sketcher. It's got to be a bit of me in it, hasn't it? It's your what am I always saying? It's our foibles and the way we see things that makes our pictures special. I thought this might have been a pencil I pinched from a DIY shop or something. Thought of Charles Evans does that, doesn't Joyce knows him.
He certainly does. He brought an IKEA one when he came to Bournemouth.
Yeah, he goes to IKEA and not to buy anything, but to pinch the pencils, which is because they're always about 2 inches or 50 centimeters long if you're on the other side of the lake, the river. Yeah. Well, of course we can over sketch. Still reckon this lady, I know this lady. I've seen you before. The hair, the hair bit. What do we do about it? I wasn't going to paint it white, or my plan wasn't to use white to paint it. I'll make a few lines here. Oops, a bit too short. But get, where am I going? That's it. That is it. Right. Okay. Go down. Got a coffee cup. Somewhere there. Up there.
Yeah.
Fingers. I'm going to cut it off that bottom there anyway. We'll fade it out. A bit like in a song, isn't it? I did notice that she's got I think she has sawn off finger gloves the same as me. So I thought, hey, I'm a Dickensian. Well, could be. And that's just going to go to blur there, isn't it? Anyway, chuck some paint at it and see what happens, shall we? It's the best process. These pencils are really nice. Black Wing. They're the ones Disney cartoonists use. So my picture ends up looking a bit like Mickey Mouse. You know what it is. I'm not going to get bogged down into the background. But what I am going to do is make it wet. Go around the hat. With my trusty mop brush. I'm standing up, by the way, even though my legs are like jelly. Walking up, I'm too old for walking up and down ladders, playing roofing person, builder. My legs are like jelly. So what I'm going to do is use up some of the paint from the palette from last week and whenever, and just drop in some of those colours. Said this before. If you don't know what to use for the background, just pinch some of the, use it as an opportunity to clean your palette. Which is nothing wrong with that. Even though you should still be looking at if there's any shadowy bits in it. It's just to offset the figure. There was TV program I was watching last night was, I think it must be on every Monday night, about hidden masterpieces that they found. Can't remember the bloke's name, the master painter. That was all portraits. Some of those old boys were really good in the 1700s. Can't remember his name. Bit of fleshy colour, I think. My desk is set up like a surgeon in an operating theatre. My brushes are all laid out here in a in order, but I'm only using 1, 2, 3, 4, and that one 5, and I've got 2 mops, a small and a large one, and the rest are just, well, dare I say it, they're oil brushes. Just looking for a few shadow bits to drop down. Shadow colour, gonna make some up. Turquoise, cobalt turquoise, and a hint of, wow, did it. Does it every time I touch it. Rose madder. It's so strong. If you want to cool it down, warm it up, burnt sienna would do that. But those are the base colours. Just drop it in for now. Same over here. Just a hint of something going on. For the main event. Could use a little bit of cling film or something on this area. Crinkled up. It will probably give that sort of textury feel to it. Or a smaller brush. I'm soaking wet. But I just wanted to state that there was something going on there. Just got a stick coming out of the side here as well, isn't there? There's a little bit of flesh tone there, burnt sienna and blue. It can't be. It's the beauty of using such a limited palette. When you're not sure what colours you're using, it can't be that many because it's got only got about 6 to my
Now, before I'm searching over and over again, I have no attachment of this picture in the mail.
in the email.
Yeah,
You haven't.
I haven't, so I'm trying to Google it. Maybe.
Hang on. I'll send it to you. Hang on. Where am I? Right. It's the Gmail account, the one.
Yes.
Via Morrissey.
Yes.
Here goes. Oh, hang on. I'll put the email in the reception in the recipient. Try it.
Okay.
2 secs. It's just press. Patch these. It's probably because it was a forwarded email for, and it was early in the morning, Sylvia. I was probably half asleep.
Yeah, everything's okay.
There you go. That should turn up now. Sorry about that. Unless it's gone in your spam.
Okay, I got it.
Technology's marvelous, isn't it?
Yes. Okay, that's good.
Now you've got the pretty pictures. What was I doing? Oh, I just used a bit of tissue to, because that where it was a bit wet. But these tissues, as you know, they come out the packet with a straight edge on, so you can just lift it off. I'm just getting set the scene. I'm not worried about the other one, the other stick. Does anybody know what colour silver is? It's sort of a silvery colour stick, isn't it? Blue and a bit of shadow, perhaps. Well, I'm not going to get bogged down with that. I just want to.
No silver comes straight out of the tube.
Yeah, I need. I'm pretty sure I've got one of those somewhere. Bit of clean water. It'll dry back. And I want it to go up here a bit. I haven't got red in my palette, but I've got yellow and rose madder. So I'll stick a blob of that on somewhere around here. Bit strong, which is hardly surprising with this rose madder. Let the brush do some of the work. Bit strong. Just leave it at that. When it's dried back, we can lift a bit off. A hint more yellowy at the top. But as I said earlier, the her coat is going to take a while. Oh, my brush just went for a little walk. Just going to wipe off the palette. Ooh. Did you see that? My brush flicked off all over the place now. In my palette, Sylvia, I've got I can't see my. I've got sand color, which is a ready mixed one, and there's also a flesh tone.
Mm-hmm.
These are from St. Petersburg paints. They're pretty well known. I use them a lot.
Okay.
They're economic. They're economic as well. They're not too expensive. Well, you know, one tube lasts a long time. where it starts off, where it's originated, is when people start watercolors. You can buy the St. Petersburg sets of paints, which are brilliant starter paints. These are several years old, 5, 6 years old, and they're still moist. I don't know what they put in them. Well, they're fairly moist. Some of them are moister than others. So they last a long time. And when they finish, you just top it up with a tube and refill it. And I use them quite a lot now. There are certain colours that you get extraneous to that. Don't know what they are offhand, because all these colours, there's dune, flesh tint there, flesh tone. That one's called mocha. Rose madder, yellows, yeah, I'll get the yellows, anything goes. Greens, hookers and viridian, half and half in that thing. Burnt umber, raw sienna, burnt sienna, raw sienna, blue, any blue really, and cobalt turquoise, which makes really nice, soft, neutral tones for flesh. For shadows flesh, which I'm just going to address now. So I've played with the background, and I'm just going to make a few marks. Actually, I haven't got a massive sketch. The face is quite small, so I'm just using the flesh shadow tone to go I'm looking at the reference image a bit, find out where I perceive any shadow bits, shadowy, darky tones. So darky, that's a technical term that artists use in the UK. Means I'm just making that up, sorry.
Before you get told off.
Oh no, yeah. I know where you're going there. I don't think anyone's continuing it is what I say. But as I said, we're recording, so I'll edit the video and put it up later on sometime. Definitely by tomorrow. Well, it's probably a lot depends. Just look at the reference image and just decide where it's really you're drawing with the brush. And it's when in doubt, use a thinner line. Don't go too thick. The hair is going to be interesting. You can even use the shadow to make out the pupils.
A bit of cake or something. Okay.
I was doing this yesterday and I thought that's a bit like something off of a horror film when you start off.
Did you hear me? Yeah. I can't see it. What did I say? What did I say?
I've got. Just pop it in. I'll take a chance and I'll put my finger in this hole that's in the palette.
Very quietly, I'm sure.
Find some shadows. Mark it up.
No, it's more of the drawing. Yeah. Today. Yeah.
Have you got over your COVID stuffy now, Anne and Gordon?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, he's he's just going to make a cup of tea. He's turned up again now. Yeah, thank you. It took a long time.
You've unlocked the room, have you? You've let him in.
He's allowed back in the house.
But the idea of Sylvia is using this neutral tone just to tease out a few shadow areas, if you can find them. Sometimes you do this and you think, oh, that's the picture looks nice like that, I'll leave it. You know, it's almost, you're almost painting it in monotone, which is a standard practice really when painting portraits, what I can see of it. These mop brushes are all right, but they don't hold a lot of paint. Want it to get, when you try to lift some color off with it, it tends to go solid and doesn't have that sort of flexibility anymore. Put a bit, I just want to put a few lines there, which will hopefully become noticeable later. Why has he done that? I don't know. And also the brim of this hat. You can see what I mean. And that, is it just, well, maybe it isn't. I don't think it's just me, but sometimes when I paint these things, I look at it and I think I can't distinguish between a female form and a male when you're doing the features of the face. I think some of the characters, maybe it's the characters, but they very often I'm doing it and I think, do you know, that looks like a bloke. The features, you know, looks like a man. It's only as you start painting portraits more often, you suddenly realise what the similarities are in the features, you know. And then what trouble is, once that happens, you start watching your favourite TV programme and you start looking at the ladies or men and think, you know, that's just a bloke with long hair or different, you know, features. Like Boris Johnson's sisters are very, you know, very similar to Boris. You start picking out, you're noticing things. The beauty of art, isn't it? I'm just trying to pick out a few bits on this. Maybe I'm just covering myself, saying, tell you what I am going to do quickly. There's always an exciting part of the picture. It's blocking in, isn't it? Clean water, a blob of colour, clean water on the brush and soften it down. That's why it's called watercolour. Let the water do the work. But whatever we do, we don't get bogged down with colour blends of colour. I think I should stop about there. So I'm gonna, I'll put it in, see what happens, but I'm planning on masking that part out. I can't paint what I can't see. Well, it was a bit of a bland statement, but it's not wise. The I think this background should have teased off a bit now. Do that a lot on these. Oops. This brush. I said it dries out and then it has its own back and flicks a piece of paint off the thing. Burnt sienna. No, clean water. I'll just see how it goes on this. Just trying to think which is drier. I think that's. I didn't want it to splurge out. Clean water. I'll do the bottom, the rim of the hat first. But I'm not putting water around where her hair is. I want to leave that area. Hence the reason I put those little shadowy tones on it, so to remind me not to paint in that area. Because that's, you're going to have to do a bit of negative, painting the negative there. Burnt sienna. Quite strong. I won't go right to the edge in case it bleeds into my beautiful background. I'll let luckily this brush got a nice point on it. And there's a light bit at the top, so try and ignore that. Avoid that. Avoid it. Clean water. Squish it around. If you can do it in one stroke, do so. Get too close to that bit. And the next colour, blue. How strong it's going to be, I'm not sure. I've got Prussian blue for some odd reason in here, which is seriously fugitive, which means it stains very strong. Just blend it over the top of the raw burnt sienna. Should give us a darkish colour. I didn't really want it to go black. I wanted it to, so I'm using these two colours. I wanted it to look like a sort of a feltish sort of tone. I think I can come right down there now. A little bit. Clean water. Can always add more, but taking it off can sometimes be a bit of a bind. The other option is to use green and rose madder or alizarin crimson. That gives us a nice, not black, but a nice dark entity that you can start to blend in as well. This is Langton paper, by the way, Gordon. He doesn't like Langton, he's gone off of it. I've got to use it because I bought a big box of it, a big pack of it at the start of the year with the plan to say, well, that's my paper that I'm going to use this year. So I'm stuck with it, I'm afraid. Put a bit of clean water on the brush and just no. Right, stop there. You can see it's going to dry back nice, isn't it? Have a go on there. So the process is quite straightforward. Clean water, burnt sienna, drop in some blue, and then top it off with a little bit of alizarin crimson and green to give you a really nice dark. Well, that's my really dark at the moment. But these things tend to go in stages. You discover something, you think, oh, that's good, I'm going to use that for a while. And then something else comes along, another blend of colours that does an even better way of doing it. I think that one comes from painting foliage, leaves, or hedgerows. Sometimes when you look at them, they're
Dave says
they're not green, they're black, aren't they? Almost black, but you don't want to paint black with watercolours, really. Well, I tend not to.
he said he was talking to you.
So the green and the
When you were gone.
light red or alizarin crimson gives you that
Said he's got a
really
stick
nice,
up,
really
so
lovely dark.
yeah.
Still got a bit of it left, so I'm gonna top it up. Where is it? Over here. Green,
Just gone off. They did say
a little bit of light red. Gives us almost a, it's not black. The good thing about doing this sort of paint, just simple mixes, is that later on when it dries and you want to add a little bit extra or a little bit more colour to it, either a lighter tone of it, is you've only got, you know what colours it is to mix. So it's a good plan, really. Just want to leave a little highlight on that rim. Might come back to that at some point. But as it's drying back, it's giving it a blue tone to it. But equally, I wanted it to look like felt, because those hats that they made them, I've got some, or I've got a Dickens hat somewhere, and it's a sort of a feltish. It's made out of soft, not velvet, but it's sort of a felt finish. Just clean water on this brush. I'm just going fading off the edge a bit. Same down here. I've drawn a pencil line, so I'm determined to fill it up. That'll do. That I'm saving for later with a rigger. Same over here. Oh, I've got a little bit of smudge there. All right. Voila. Just change my. I've got 2 water buckets here. Just switch one over. Something a bit cleaner. I've got this June colour. That's now got dirty. Still stuck with this mop brush, which is great. Add a little bit of pink to it. See what happens. Can't get too close to the
to the hat because it's still soaking wet. Try and put some flesh to the bones. Just putting some of the darker bits in, and I'm going to use water to make them move about. Clean water. I haven't got any clean water. Clean water comes out. Yuck. I've got a little bit more pink here, so to say I'm not really going to get bogged down with the individual colours. But the ones I've put on, I'm letting spread just a sort of undertone. Well, don't give up on me. Very gentle. Try and pick out some of the darker shades of tone, flesh, and hopefully my beautiful lady should turn up. The sort of monotonous bit, but it's the most important bit, isn't it? But I'm stuck with a rigor now. So once you, it is frustrating because you find once you pick the flipping thing up, it's hard to put it down again. But my face is quite, the whole paper's still quite wet, so I'm just putting small amounts of paint on and let the water work its magic, which ain't always the final result that you want, but not far away. Just ease the little rascal out. See, the hat has spread over there. A little monkey. I was just determined not to use a hairdryer. I've got one here, but it's just one of those things. Her eye, I don't know. I couldn't decide on what colour her pupils of her eyes were. So in the end, I've got this green and alizarin crimson, call it light red, whatever you like, mix here, which is I'm using for shadows, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, to be quite honest, it's not that far away from the colour or the tone that's in her eyes. So in for a penny, in for a pound, or a euro if you're from Germany. I'm gonna just add it on. Just use that. Just build up the shadow. I'm not trying to do one of those flamboyant colour ones, colour it portraits. I just thought, because it's the first one we've done for a while, I thought it could be a relearn how to do them a bit. But I think if I was to focus on any particular style, brands, call it what you want, of painting, you know, if I stopped doing this on a Tuesday or something, you know, retired into the ether, I think that's what I'd do. Focus on portraits. Try and get good at it. Raw sienna and light red gives you a flesh tone. If you want to mix up your own, which I've just done. Just thought it might need a little bit more of a stronger colour. It gives you more say in the colour. It's okay using the standard mix ones to start, to kick you off, really, kickstart what you're doing. But as you carry on, you suddenly you realise that then they haven't got the vibrancy or the oomph, for want of a better term, that you're looking for. But it's the same principle though. A line of colour, clean water on the brush, and just let it soften down underneath, and see if you can get those wonderful random tones that sort of blend, isn't it, that you can't get with well, with oils and acrylics, not in the same context. The only thing I'm annoyed about there, and I'm going to try and address it, is I put a shadowy bit here, which I don't really want. I'm going to try and lift it off. Clean tissue, water. Just take it away. I'll come back to it in a minute. That's the Beatles tune. Is there anything that you want? You can always tell when I'm happy, because I start singing or whistling or intent. Ain't what you see, but going back to what I was talking about to Sylvia at the start, the sketching bit of it, there were only a few lines on here when I started, and it was only because Sylvia mentioned sketching that I put extra ones on. Because normally you only need, like I said, a couple of lines, and just gauge the distances for yourself. as you paint it, draw with the brush almost. Just so. But if you were going to buy a brush, then these are the ones to these rosemary evergreen. I must admit, they're oops, it's a bit red. That's the trouble with this painting portraits, Lark. One brush stroke, you could turn a normal person into a vampire, or you know, one bit of flash red, especially in an eye, and she's got something wrong with her eyes. That was the bit I was toying with a minute ago. Was that bit there? Wanted it to be a bit more pink. But going back to what Chrissy was saying as well, the nose is just one of those things you're just going to have to. It isn't a definitive object in that you need to draw it. Not in my mind, anyway. There's no. Don't look at it as a specific object. Look at it as a set of shapes and tones. So you've got two nostrils that are dark blobs. Paint them first, and either side of them there's a lighter, well, a reddish blob portion. Paint that, and gradually it'll turn up. But you've got all the ammunition, all the colours are there. Well, we did have. I never forget that lady on Paint My Picture. When I uploaded the painting of her portrait, she was so cock-a-hoo. Because she obviously didn't know that it was coming, that I was going to upload the picture. I'm still using that shadow colour here, which is the green and the, oops, a bit too much. Permanent rose. I keep saying permanent rose or alizarin crimson because a lot of people use alizarin crimson, but I don't, because it fades. It's a bad colour. You shouldn't have it in your palette. Throw it away. Unless you deliberately want your pictures to turn into white paper or pinky paper. Sometimes you do. That's why I left that space between the hat and here. Because I was going to use the rigger like I'm doing now, just to, and a little bit of this grey tone, just to flick in some hairy bits, the shadows between within the hair. Paint it in the negative, so to speak. It's a bit dark. Hopefully it will fade back. Well, I'm sure it will. You can use some flecks of white later if you want to, with a bit of white gouache. But then, if you do it right and if you're careful, you will get some hair turning out. I think you're a bit dark, but I can fiddle it later. At some point, you've got to take control and say, I'm not actually looking at the reference picture anymore. I know instinctively it says that there's got to be some sort of hair squishy stuff here, so just paint it in. Just use your imagination. Once you've got one stroke, you should be all right. I'll paint some darker ones there, and I will flick in some white paint later. Up there, see? When you sketch yours, you might want to put some pencil lines where you really think there should be some hair. It did cross my mind to use some masking fluid, which is not a bad thing. I just thought I'd challenge myself to do it without it. It's only when you start looking at the picture a bit, or the reference image a bit closer up, you suddenly realise there's a hell of a lot more information in there than clean water on that. Just soften it down. Chrissy just can't wait to get started on this picture, can you?
No. Should be interesting.
Well, if I was you, as I was painting it, well, it's just the way I think. If it was me, I'd be with your showground background. I'd be thinking along the lines of it was a show person, you know.
Yeah.
And that would make it such a nice, a warmer. I don't know. Oh, give me a warm glow as I was painting it. And now I've thought about it, I'm sort of going back to sort of my youth days when I used to go around a fair and see all these characters. Don't know why I did that a minute ago. As I say, I've always got a piece of tissue in my hand, so when in doubt, I'll just blob it out. This is a very subtle, not finished paper, so it will take a little bit of blendology. By that I mean this. You put a line of colour on like so, cream water in your brush, dab it on tissue, take the edge off, and then just underneath, you see that little bit of Sometimes these dry back bits are good and you leave them, but I do like to blend it in so that it looks nice and smooth. Maybe it's a bit red there, don't know. But I think today's for me anyway, the color highlight, or the nice, what do you call it, happy accident, the nice thing that happened, give her a moustache, is the mixing the green with the permanent rose. It's given it is a really lovely soft shadow tone. Well, it is for me at the moment. Ooh, fell off my brush. Ooh, come back. And you can just use clean water to soften them up. But as I said, right from the very start with that little doodle I did last night, the when it dries, you can use your wrong brush. Use the bigger brush. Use clean water and a tissue just to tease out any highlights you want or any bits that didn't quite work. So colour now quite a lot, the red and the green. push in some strong bits. Go down. Wow, a little bit of. Don't ask me what yellow I've been using in this palette, so I haven't got a clue. I haven't made this paper wet, so I'm just using the brush dry and scrubbing it to see if I can get anything, sort of a pattern on it, but it goes a bit lighter down, a bit lighter as we come down. But if you do that, just stick your brush straight into the colour as it is in the palette with no water, just a tip of it, and just use it dry. See if you can find some reason in the pattern. Making a right old scrubbing noise here. Quite like that colour. Sunlit gold yellow. From Terry Harrison, who's for Sylvia. He's a UK, well, he was a UK artist. Terry Harrison. It's got a website where you can buy paints and brushes and all sorts of weird and wonderful things. Trouble is, I've got to balance this now because I've done it over that side, so I've definitely got to do it over here. Same. I can get the same method. How am I off the time? Because I've been blabbing on a lot here.
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock.
Blimey. It's
Time
really.
flies. Having fun.
I was gonna say it's whizzed through today.
Mm.
Same with this. Got to watch this permanent rose colour. But I'm just gonna. Actually, I think it's got a scarf of some description on. But all I've done is just if you just touch your brush into the neat paint, it will give you that sort of. And on not finished paper, you get that roughness. If it's too much like that was, just take it onto the edge of or a blank bit of paper and just take the top of it, the edge on there of the paint.
Come and have a look at this. It looks just like super.
Tidy up time now, isn't it? Bit clean water. So I'm going to tease that off. I might just try. I'll have a go and see if I can blur it.
So he's painted it younger than.
See what it looks like when it's got a frame on it. I don't think I'm going to get away with that. Used all my flesh colour up.
You turned yours up.
Just mix up a bit more.
Just
Raw sienna,
balance of it. Look at it both.
permanent rose, or that other colour that I said I wouldn't mention anymore. But it is useful. I mean, to be able to just go whoosh and put some tint. If you've got a flesh tone like that one, it does act as a nice plain background, a base to add some more you can't say flesh to the bones, but flesh to the flesh
Mhm.
at some point. The
I
Yeah,
think
but-
I'm going to log out by now. Just wanted to let you know.
Okay. Nice
well,
to
I'll
meet
send you the,
Have a nice time. Yeah, bye.
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 Bye. Bye, Sylvia.
I'll send you the link.
Okay, bye.
There you go. Is it looking all right, Chrissy?
Yeah.
I haven't stood up to look at the flipping thing yet at all. I think I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to my cup.
Chris, I was just saying, she looks just like Sue Bird, doesn't she?
Sorry.
Sue Bird.
Oh yes.
Is that one of your friends?
Yeah, one of our
Yes.
campers.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, I'm glad we've got some sort of. But the theme colour that I said just now, that this green and rosy colour, I've used it practically everywhere. It's still, because it's dead handy for all this stuff going on in here. I think what I might try, well, I don't think I'm going to do it, is use a stiff brush. If you've got a fan brush, all well and good. I think that will do it quite well. Or a Hulk's hair brush. I reckon you could quite easily, quite justifiably, just fine short. Turn this top into sort of a paisley finish. I'm not worried about. Just dab a few swirly bits in. Nice to meet Sylvia.
Mm,
Yes, we're definitely going international now.
yeah.
Lewandowski. Lovely name. Her brother could be the footballer for all I know. Or a partner, I don't know. Famous German footballer. Superstar. I mean, crikey. Considering we're only doing it, we don't do it for hours on end. I'm quite amazed how tight the picture is at the end of the morning. The one we did last week, my Scottish waterfall one, I haven't touched that.
Mm.
As I
That
said in my
went
thing,
well,
that
didn't it?
there's a
Just,
couple of pictures that I've done lately that I haven't touched. You know, during the week, I've just sort of, I just moved on.
It just went really well.
It's because I don't know what to do to it. I'm frightened to touch it in case it spoils it.
Yeah.
Do you get that?
Works.
I don't know what to do with it. So if in doubt, just leave it alone. My motto. Just, I mean, I could spent a lot of time on this, on her coat, but I'm not really that bothered about it. You can, is there any seamstresses amongst us and wants to spend an inordinate amount of time?
No.
There's a
No.
word for finding patterns in objects. I can't remember what it is, but there is a word for it. You know, I'm always on about it, and I'm seeing figures and faces and curtains and that. There's a special word for it. That's Gordon's homework, to look up the word and let me know.
Where have
I
got
heard
to
it. I think it begins with R.
A word for finding faces is in curtains and pictures. And...
I can't hear you, Anne.
Sorry, no, I'm talking to Gordon. Tell him, because he wasn't here.
Hello, David.
What was it you wanted him to look up?
There's a special word for finding or seeing objects in, like, in curtains and that. You see faces in inanimate, you see objects in it. There's a word for it. I think it begins with an R. I heard it the other day and I thought, that's the word.
Don't know.
I have to remember that, and I forgot it. Well, did we do that very often as we get older? I think we do.
Try and find out.
I just said to Anne, that's your homework.
Oh, I do homework, okay.
Find out what that word is.
That instead of doing that painting?
No, you've got to do both.
I think
Ask Alexa, she'll know.
it's the what?
Ask Alexa.
Is that what it is?
Got one.
I'll go and ask her, hang on.
Oh, all right. Well, it didn't begin with R, did it? Where? So just as well I didn't remember it.
We're still trying to find out.
Ah. Ask Alexa. I thought you were saying ask Alexa was the word.
That's why I said you're still
Ask
trying to find out.
Alexa. Oh, for flipping crying out loud. Thanks, Chris. I can always rely on you for a little bit of. Dave, you're a twit.
Well, she's downstairs, so I haven't asked her yet.
Nice that. That's a good one. I like that. I fell right into that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Stupid boy. Ugh. What's wrong with this brush? What I wanted was a little bit more fleshy tone. Been messing around with the yellow so much that I've lost it. I only wanted a bit. Oh well. It was just to add what's a fingernail? Ooh, that's a bit strong. Lift it. Oh, you sod. Excuse me. This brush has got
If you see
Homework, David.
faces, oh,
Coming up with an answer.
Pareidolia.
that's the one I've got. If you see faces in things, isn't it?
Yeah.
what's it called?
Pareidolia.
Yeah, that's the word.
Aha.
Beginning with an R, yeah.
Yeah. Told you.
Has got an R in it.
Yeah.
Just put a bit of shadow on this. And I'll let that blend into itself. Give me some more of that yellow. A little bit of the red.
I asked Alexa, but she said it was probably a stalker.
Oh, I haven't got an Alexia. I've got a Melanie.
Neither have we. I've got Anne. I don't need Alexia.
Yeah,
She knows everything.
that's what I said. I was careful, Gord. Careful. I was going to say, you know, just ask Mel. She knows everything.
Yeah.
Mm.
Ladies
Well,
are very clever.
she must do. She keeps telling me I know nothing. she must know it. Oh,
She knows you, though.
No, she's downstairs, thank God. So I'm getting away with it. Right. Lots of water on this pinky mix. Pinky. And I'm going to put some there. That'll do. And a little bit there. I think. Need water. And just soften that down. Put it up there. Lift it off. Just a little teeny. But you can have a play to your heart's content at trying to get the right feeling. Beauty of watercolour though, Chrissy, you can put a little dash of colour on and then clean water on your brush and tease it all over the place and even blend it in with the stuff that was already there. See what happened. I think I was a bit yellowy actually, but hey ho, we'll go with the flow. Not bad. So I'm quite pleased with that. Using that shadow colour. That's the way it is. You sort of watch it, don't give her a black eye. Now I've said that, everyone's going to say, you can see it. Yeah. I'm not far off where I want to be. Sounds like a cue for a song. I'm not far off where I want to be. Where's a stiff brush? Give me a stiff brush, please.
Amazing the clock going.
And just lift a bit off here.
I might have to adjust to get the musical box working. It's not pushing the lever far enough. The whole thing's a design, so you do bend all the little bits inside to get them to work.
And push a bit up. Yeah, that bit there is annoying. Just a little hint
Let him finish his own.
of too much yellow.
Chris agrees with me, it looks like Sue Bird.
Spoil there now. You put a little bit of burnt sienna and a hint of blue in her eyes. You know, anywhere down the bottom.
You can't talk over it. I know, but I can.
Same there. Just to make them stand out a bit more. There's a bit dark there. I just want to lighten out at some point. And I promised myself to use a little bit of white on her. That shadow colour is really nice. Really like it. Blend it in. What's say? Yeah, a bit of white. A little bit of the dreaded gouache. Blanco. It's all dried up in the tube, but I left the lid off for about 3 weeks. But if that was acrylic, she'd be in trouble. But us splish splash splosh boys, we can just use a little bit of water and rehydrate it all. I just thought I put those dark lines on. I thought it was a bit too much, so I'm just going to flick over. One thing I have missed is there's a hint of an earlobe there. I think in my haste I forgot about that. And the sort of paint it is, the gouache, it doesn't stay. It's not like oil paint, totally pigmentary. As it dries, it sort of lets a bit of the colour underneath through, so it acts like a little blend. Turn this paper up on its side, but I'll keep going. There you go. See what reaction we get to that. It's not too bad. So, I think a bloke last night on the famous masterpiece was Pompeo. Somebody Pompeo. Anyway, his paintings were all right. Not up to our standard, of course, but he didn't have the gear that we have in 1780 or whenever it was. There you go. Over to you, Lynn. You have a go. Don't be shy. Don't be reticent.
I can't decide whether to do it in acrylics or pastel.
Oh dear.
Pastels would be fun.
Yeah.
You got those soft ones, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell you what, I think this is going to grow on me over the next day or so.
Nice, good, yeah.
Yes.
Well, the beauty of it is, and I keep, I'm reminding you because I need to remind myself, is an hour ago, this was like a blank piece of paper going nowhere. Now it's a blank piece of paper still going nowhere, but it's got no, I didn't mean, I'm not saying that. It's a lovely piece of paper with a lovely lady's portrait study on it. It has value now, whereas before it was valueless. Just adding a little bit of dry brushwork on there. Same way as to do it with their trees. Especially now it's dried off a bit. That's a little bit more emphasis here and there. Oh, just stuck my hand in a big blob of can always add a little bit more detail later with the old watercolor pencil. If I feel inclined. That's the beauty of not finished paper, isn't it? It's got those little bumps in it that you can just use a dry brush or pick up a little bit of paint. When you hear it, it's sort of it sounds like I'm scratching, but it's just where it's going over the top of the. And the paint in my palette's starting to dry out a bit, so that's helping as well. I think I'll put a little bit of shadowy bit down there. Need a bit of water on the brush now. It's better. And a hint of it over the top. Make it look like it's a stick of some digital art, as Joyce told me about.
Sorry, Dave, what was that?
I said I used a bit of digital art that you told me.
Oh, right, yes, of course.
And
You finished unpacking yet, Joyce?
Oh no, Chris, it's a sort of bottomless pit at the moment.
I can imagine.
And one of the difficulties we had was that some of our larger bits of furniture had to be dismantled. They couldn't be moved in large sections, and therefore they haven't all been rebuilt yet. So we're still living with lots of boxes and things.
Yes, it all takes time.
It does, yes.
well, the bedroom that I'm in, that is now my music study studio, doodah, what's it? We've lived in this house 40 odd years, and it's never been decorated. This room has never been decorated. Carpet I got off of my Uncle Jim when he moved house from somewhere to somewhere, and it's still underneath the bed. It was all right, but the rest of it is all threadbare and fallen. I've just put runners down to hide it. I think
Trouble is, there's so much stuff you've got to move and get out the way to do anything.
yeah.
Where do you put it?
And then I think, well, at the end of the day, it's only aesthetic change anyway. So why bother? Why bother? People, you know, I look at it, I think, cool, that's a bit of a tip. Well, Mel uses words a bit stronger than that occasionally. And I think, well, I think to myself, well, if 35 years ago, say, I'd stripped it all out, decorated it, made it pristine, blah, 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 it would now look not much better than it did then, than it does actually look. Because in those years, all that money and stuff that I spent doing it up would have been in vain, because it would. That's my logic.
That's a very good argument.
Yeah.
What I've got now at some point was brand new and spanking, and it's not anymore. Things blooming deteriorate and fade. It ages like me, so I'm just leaving it at that. I don't care.
My room where I'm sat now is like that.
I'm too busy doing me shed roof. I'm not climbing up sheds roof person. But yeah, there you
Yes, very good.
Yeah, like
I
that.
really like it. Lovely.
Mine comes out nothing like that at all. Guaranteed. I keep looking at the sky. It's coming over very dark, and I've got some friends coming in half an hour, and we're going to go out for a walk with the dog. It's not looking very good out there at the minute.
There's mega traffic problems over your way, Chris.
Yes, yes. At the Mountbatten, there's a car crashed into a gas thing, a gas leak.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like now, but when I walked down this morning, down to the end of the road to have a look, there was a police car across the junction. The only way we could get out of the estate is to go and turn right, which is
No, I think there's still problems from what I've heard. Yeah.
Oh, well, my friends might be a bit later getting here then. Unless they leave early, they say no. But the trouble is, there's only one way in and out of the estate onto the dual carriageway.
Yeah.
I go normally you sort of go to the end of the road, and then you've got to go right to go up. It's a dual carriageway, but because you can't go right because the gas leaks at the top of the hill somewhere. I think I can see cars leaving the estate and they're turning left, so they're going sort of against what would have been the track. Whether the police might have made the 2 lanes of the dual carriageway into 2-way traffic, just to get in and out of the estate. Otherwise, goodness only knows. But anyway, right. Well, I'm gonna have to make a move in case they arrive.
I got it. Where is it you're going?
Oh no, my friends are coming over, and
Oh,
we've
right.
just take Leo for a nice walk up on the heath or in the woods or somewhere. Just hoping they get there.
Right. It's all right. When you're working away, you don't notice that the temperature. Now I stopped, I'm feeling cold.
It's getting colder.
Well,
You see my little boy?
oh wow.
Oh. He's gorgeous.
Growing.
Well, considering, was he early?
No,
Oh,
no, he's no, he was only within a day or 2 of what he was supposed to be.
must be someone else.
But yeah, no, he's a lovely little lad. And as you can see, they're West Ham fans. So I made that blanket ages ago, even before I knew it was a boy, because I thought boy or girl, it's going to be West Ham fan. So yeah, he's a little cutie. Yes.
How old is he now?
Oh.
It was 8 weeks yesterday.
Wow, crikey. Where's that
It's,
fight gone?
It's
It's
just
David's
10.5 pounds.
Oh.
David Jr.'s having a shindig over at his mother-in-law's this weekend, I think, coming. One day, I don't know what it is. They're supposed to go over there, say hello and that. But he spoke to me yesterday to say happy birthday on the phone. And I said, he's just dropped Mega, his wife, over to the hospital because she's been vomiting all day, really bad. She can't keep anything down, so he's dropped her off at A&E, or just gone to the urgent care centre. So I don't. But then he said, well, the people that they had a little party this weekend over the same at the church and all this down here in Dorset, and a load of them have rung up saying they've got Norabati virus. So and I sort of instantly said to him, well, you won't be seeing me this weekend.
No.
His wife's got it, or she's obviously got some sickness. I ain't going over there. What's the point?
Right. Oh gosh. Not
There's
nice.
a lot of nasty things around still, isn't there?
Nor have I. No, and well, especially with James just getting over that stuff
Yeah.
that he's had. The last
we-
thing he wants is to start
Start all over again.
being ill again, being sick all the time. So I'm thinking, I don't think I want to know about this.
Anyway, I've really got to go now because I must have a quick
Right.
sandwich before they
Yeah.
come.
Maybe next week. Yeah.
Right.
Bye.
See you
Bye
later.
then.
Next week.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Blish slash blush.
Bye.
I'm
Bye.
starving.
Mm.
I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter. Make believe it came from you. Well, I'm gonna write the words so sweet, they're gonna knock me off my feet. A lot of lisses on the bottom. Well, I'm gonna be glad I got 'em. I'm gonna smile and say, I hope you're feeling better. And close with love the way you do. Yeah, I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter. And I'm gonna make believe it came from you. I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter. And make believe it came from you. Oh, I'm gonna write the words so sweet, they're gonna knock me off my feet. Well, a lot of kisses on the bottom. Well, I'm glad I got 'em. Yeah, I'm gonna smile and say, I hope you're feeling better. Well, close with love the way you do. Well, I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter and make believe it came from you. Yeah, make believe it came. Yes, make believe